Off the Wall marks a change in Michael Jackson's career. It's the beginning of a new era. He's not the kid who sang ABC or I Want You Back. He's the man who now sings Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and Rock With You. But this album also has one song, a song that's a deeper cut. And if you're a fan, you know and love this song. It was never released as a single, but I think this song is the key to understanding the whole album. Because on this song, we hear Michael becoming an adult. And not just with the lyrics, but with the music as well. Today, we're diving all the way into this song. I Can't Help It. Breaking down the chords, the groove, the lyrics, and seeing how, if you look at the full picture of who actually wrote this song and which album it was originally intended for, it makes this all even better. I love Off the Wall because it's like this time capsule. Michael is in between big phases of his career. He's no longer a little kid in the Jackson 5, but he's also not the mega superstar he would end up being. Musically, we've got songs that lean heavy on disco, softer pop, a ballad, and I've already talked in a whole other video about Rock With You, how it bridged the gap between multiple changing genres. And then there's I Can't Help It. There's something magical about it. It leans on yet another musical subgenre, another legendary artist, and a transformation of sorts. Let's talk about what's happening musically here, then we'll see how that informs the lyrics. These two alternating chords on the verse are so smooth sounding. The reason is because this is a tritone substitution. Now, I've explained this before, so I'm not going to get all the way into it, but suffice it to say, this works because it's functioning as a simple 5-to-1 chord resolution, just with the root note change, so it's a little more sly. So you've got this little bit of tension with the first chord, and then it basically releases when it resolves. It's basically an A dominant 7 resolving to an A flat major 7. But that A chord is so lush that it's actually kind of two chords. I know that sounds like a weird idea, but hear me out. I think this actually plays into the lyrical idea of the song as well. The technical name of this chord is an A13 sharp 11. Now that name implies a lot of notes. If you were to play them in order, that would be A, C sharp, E, G, and then the 9, which is B, the sharp 11, which is D sharp, and the 13, which is F sharp. That's an insanely lush chord, but those top 3 notes, those form a B major triad. So this chord could be seen as a B major chord on top of an A7. And both of these two distinct chords resolve down to an A flat major 7. It's like you have two different chords that are stacked on top of each other, and they just end up becoming one new chord. Well, remember how I said this album was Michael becoming an adult and establishing himself as a new artist? Well, in 1979, the same year this album was released, Michael wrote this down as a sort of personal affirmation. MJ will be my new name. No more Michael Jackson. I want a whole new character, a whole new look. I should be a totally different person. People should never think of me as the kid who sang ABC or I Want You Back. I should be a new, incredible actor, singer, dancer that will shock the world. I will do no interviews. I will be magic. I will be a perfectionist, a researcher, a trainer, a masterer. I will be better than every great actor roped into one. I must have the most incredible training system to dig and dig and dig until I find. I will study and look back on the whole world of entertainment and perfect it. Take it steps further from where the greats left off. You could almost say he was digging the greats. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, you're probably like, okay, man, but check the name of the channel. All right, but Michael has this desire to become a new artist, become a new sort of character. He's growing up and wants to show that growth. With that in mind, these two stacked chords that then resolve into one, it feels like the two Michaels, Michael and MJ, are competing and then ultimately resolving into one person. This idea is also at play with the bass line. The bass line and vocal perfectly complement each other in a playful back and forth. They're both very syncopated and playing off the beat, but they're going back and forth with each other. Check us out.
Looking in my mirror,
Either the bass is moving or the vocal is.
took me by surprise. I can't can't help but see you running often through my mind.
This feels like a conversation between Michael and MJ. And I would argue that lyrically, the first verse feels like it's Michael talking to himself. So on the verses, we've got this play between these two chords and the bass line, and then the chorus is more straightforward with the bass and vocal more together, and the chords are looping back and forth. We've got tritone substitutions, counterpoint with the bass, these incredibly lush chords happening, but the first demo version of this song had a faster feel. Check this out.
Looking in my mirror, take me by surprise. I can never want you running often through my mind.
This feels faster, jazzier, more aggressive on the drums and the piano, and not as smooth as the final version. Remember how I said this album feels like a time capsule? Well, after tinkering with the production, the final version of this song would lean on yet another subgenre of music: Quiet Storm. This subgenre of R&B was pioneered by Melvin Lindsey, a radio intern at WHUR in 1976. He ended up with a nightly slot called The Quiet Storm, which was 4 hours of music that was smooth, soulful, romantic, and jazz influenced. This includes stuff like the Isleys, Teddy Pendergrass, and got its name from the 1975 Smokey Robinson song, Quiet Storm.
Soft and warm, a quiet storm.
We've got a similar smooth bass line,
As when flowers drop
easy groove, syncopated soft vocal.
break of dawn.
It's a great vibe. This R&B subgenre would continue through the 80s and 90s. You could even argue that some stuff now is in the vein of Quiet Storm, but considering the radio show started in 1976 and Smokey's song came out in 75, this Quiet Storm feel on the final version of I Can't Help It feels like another corner of this musical time machine. If Michael wanted to study and dig into the greats, I mean, he's doing it. He's got this Smokey Robinson Quiet Storm feel, and oh right, in addition to this song being in the key of A flat, it's also in the key of life. That's right, this song was written by Suze Green of the Supremes and Stevie Wonder. Not only that, check this out.
That was supposed to be one of the songs on Songs in the Key of Life.
Ooh.
See, I didn't know that.
Now this makes even more sense. Stevie Wonder was also a huge star from an early age. His first hit song was when he was 13. The difference is for Stevie, Songs in the Key of Life was at the end of what we now call his classic period. He almost quit music entirely before changing his mind and returning with this double album. It also includes a 4-song EP. For Stevie's career, this album is the end of an era, his classic period. It's a culmination of everything he's done before. After this album is Stevie's commercial period, so knowing that I Can't Help It was meant for this album, this idea of transformation feels even more relevant. Suze Green co-wrote this song with Stevie. She was the last official member of the Supremes and also released solo albums and sang with Stevie as a background singer. She even sang backgrounds on Songs in the Key of Life. Now, a quote-unquote demo of Stevie singing this song has floated around the internet. Here it is.
Looking in my mirror,
Now, this is really awesome to hear,
took me by surprise.
but this is not a demo. You can tell because Stevie adds a third verse that is unexpected.
You're hearing the best Christmas music,
Okay,
24/7
interesting.
on Coast FM.
This demo is actually Stevie performing on KOST 103.5 in 2012. But knowing that Stevie is a master of being able to speak with music, this makes perfect sense. Stevie had been on a similar journey as Michael, starting out as a child prodigy and becoming an adult. And there's one other Songs in the Key of Life connection I gotta show you. Remember how Michael in 1979 wrote that personal affirmation thing? He's in the middle of a transformation, he's studying the greats, figuring out his new character. Well, for Stevie Wonder, one of the writers of this song, he had already felt the same way. I Can't Help It was supposed to go on Songs in the Key of Life, and look at what Stevie says at the beginning of the liner notes. I've never considered myself an orator nor politician, only a person who was fortunate enough, thanks to all of you, to become an artist given a chance to express the way he feels and hopefully the feelings of many other people. It is to me a fact that Stevie Wonder is that temporary someone of myself, even though we have come to know each other very well and realized because of who he is, the many doors that have been opened may have been closed to myself, Stevlin Morris. It is important that you do note permanently in your mind that I do take not a second for granted. For I do believe it is that Stevie Wonder is the necessary vehicle on which Stevlin Morris must be carried on his mission to spread love mentalism. Stevie Wonder is to Stevlin Morris as MJ is to Michael Jackson. Both of these legendary artists are growing up and going through a personal and musical transformation with this song, I Can't Help It. They're both embracing their grown-up artist character in order to make music. That's why this groove feels so good. Those lush chords give you chills. Even Michael, there's no actual third verse, he just goes, yeah, I'll hum the melody, whatever, we just gotta keep this song going. It feels so good. This song connects Michael and Stevie. It's almost like Stevie is showing Michael how to embrace the next phase of his career. And for me, the fact that this wasn't a single, it's just this gorgeous gem near the end of the album, an incredible album that makes the whole thing better. You've got the hits, so many great songs on this album, and then I Can't Help It. It's this bridge between Stevie and Michael. I love it. Now, Stevie, or Stevlin, I'm not really sure what to call the man now, he's so good at communicating through music, and it's not just the chords. His groove is so good, it's like he's a universal groove donor. It works with just about anything. But for that story, you gotta click here.